Hello everyone and welcome to another Elder Scrolls 6 video. My name's Brian if you happen to be new around here, but if you're part of this incredible 74,847 of y'all who've hit that subscribe button and taken a chance on my content, welcome in and welcome back. For the 80% of you guys who have yet to subscribe, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it and hope you enjoy today's video. Now we're going to be talking about the news that confirms Elder Scrolls 6 is now an Xbox and PC exclusive. In fact, it's when I say now, truth be told, it's been this way for a while, but we're now seeing more confirmation and more news that confirms this. In fact, Stephen Totelo, he tweets out for Microsoft's response. In the FTC versus Microsoft case, Elder Scrolls 6 listed here as an Xbox and PC. It is releasing 2026 or later. So most likely, depending on the news and the fact that they've now entered in that main mid-production cycle for the game itself, 2026 feels about right, but it could easily shift into 2027, especially if they do what they did with Starfield by taking extra time and making sure it delivers. Now, 2027 is an interesting year because already we're hearing rumors and leaks from the FTC case that Xbox is set to maybe release their next Xbox around 2028. So this would be one of those cross-generational platform games that we could see depending on what Microsoft decides to do as the industry changes over the course of the next decade in this case. But you can see from the graphic alone that they detail out what their content strategy is, and Elder Scrolls 6 is listed as Xbox PC, not coming to PlayStation, doesn't have crossplay, it isn't a multiplayer game, and so it is going to be a part of their offering to continue to further entice people to come and join in the fold. I'd be very curious about you if you are a PlayStation fan and an Elder Scrolls fan, and if this is going to be something that shifts the needle for you somewhat, or if you, in a way, kind of like to highlight another tweet here, Beast of Truth, real gamers own all three, and he's refuting that, or are you somebody like me who's console agnostic, who has all platforms and all of these games? Just because if you don't and you can't afford all the gaming platforms, that doesn't make you less of a gamer. That's what Beast of Truth is highlighting here, and I think that's a really good call out, and I'm glad that people are talking about that. Just play games, be happy about games. There's so much to enjoy, and the internet does tend to make us a little bit salty from time to time. Now, Stephen goes on to say that another newly released document from the FTC case. Here is Microsoft telling the FTC in September 2022 that Elder Scrolls 6 may be released only on Xbox and PC. So we have plenty of time in that case where they're talking about it. Now, obviously targeting a 2026 release window that is grayed out from us and from our view here, but obviously more information is going to continue on. And as soon as we have a solid release date, I'll be sure to let you know here at the channel. So be sure to subscribe if you like gaming content. That's going to be it. Also, if you like it, hit the like button. That's also a great way of supporting the content for free. Now, what I want to jump into here is Ryan McCaffrey. He tweets out, no Elder Scrolls 6 on PS5, as expected. But guess what? If the tables were turned, Sony would do the exact same thing. In fact, everyone should expect them to, and there wouldn't be even any question about it. I think one of the reasons why, and we were talking about this over on X, Twitter, whatever we want to call it, was primarily that, like, when you think about the size and scope of what Sony's fan base is, like, they're much larger than the Xbox, so it can sometimes feel overwhelming, or at least that the majority opinion is like, yes, of course Sony can do it, but Xbox can't. However, I do feel like with what Microsoft's doing, it's evening the playing field for them as a company and a product. However, I do mourn the loss of games not going on platforms. I don't champion exclusivity because I feel like it really is more about excluding than really growing the industry as a whole. I understand why the platform holders do it. I understand that exclusives sell platforms. Same thing with exclusives sell, subscription to Netflix and things like that. But at the end of the day, I still want to continue to advocate for what I feel is the better approach to gaming and let people and gamers play. We've talked about solutions here on the channel before. I'm not going to relitigate that in this video, but I'd be curious as to how you feel. Again, like I said, if you're a PlayStation fan and an Elder Scrolls fan, will this move the needle, do you think? Or will you be like me and play primarily on cloud and PC, where I have the most level of flexibility? And that's kind of what the Xbox is teasing for the next one, is even more flexibility when it comes down to it. Now, as a final kind of thought, Peter tweets out, wouldn't be surprised if IGN already had their Elder Scrolls 6 review written based off of the fact that this is an exclusive. Where Elder Scrolls is going to be different, and we'll see a lot of people push back on the narrative that IGN was hitting Starfield, harder. Like they'll like, oh, IGN's fair. They're not compromised or whatever. They'll use Elder Scrolls 6 review because Elder Scrolls 6 has an established IP. So what that means is it already comes in with a baked-in fan base. It already comes in with these preconceived notions. It also already established, like, when you're stepping into the game, what kind of game you're going to get. And it does eliminate a lot of this, hypothetical, assumptions that people did. And that's, Starfield, no matter what, was never going to live up to the expectations that were set on both sides of the console wars in this case. But I would push back that I think you'll see Elder Scrolls 6 have a decent review from IGN because you have people who are fans of Elder Scrolls at IGN and playing it on PC in a better experience. And all that being said is that people will use the fact that, a pre-established IP getting a better review, assuming that the game doesn't, isn't completely broken, as evidence that their Starfield review or other reviews are perfectly fair and balanced. And that just isn't the case. And we all know it deep down, root down. Like there's nothing, I'm only telling you guys what you probably believed, or just kind of the unspoken, the quiet part out loud that all these are having. But that's the game. That's the business model, and that's essentially everybody's preconceived bias when it comes to video games. At the end of the day, play the games, have fun, talk about what's great about it, talk about what isn't great about it. All of that I think I want to champion, and always champion respectfully. You do not have to agree with me here. That is perfectly okay. In fact, I actually welcome it. And so we always want to get that pushback on any of these ideas that I share with you guys today. Anyway, that's going to be it for this gaming section of the video. So class dismissed. I want to shift into kind of just a real concern that I have for you guys out there, especially the men. And I know this will impact women, but it's like ultimately, this is me, mano a mano, talking to you about what's going on. Now, obviously, lots of reports, lots of studies being done on the kind of what they are calling the male loneliness epidemic. I can't speak in this case, and why not make a YouTube video where I talk? And I want to talk to you guys about this because this is a real thing. It's always something I'm very concerned about, namely because I look at it as there's not like one thing, right, that we can just pull and fix this one thing and you're ready to rock and roll and you're good. But it's more that there's all these other things. And one of the things that I look at and kind of hyper focus in on this for just a little bit is social media. The aspect that we're having a conversation right now, it isn't as good as if we were having this conversation in real life. And that in and of itself, I think when you overconsume and you live online is one of the aspects, is one of the factors that's contributing to a lot of this loneliness that we're experiencing as humanity, but also as men. One of the things I've talked about and I've remarked on is that how difficult it is to actually make friends is when you become an adult. Like felt like it was so easy when you were in school. It felt like it was so easy when you were younger, but then as you get older and older, you just get busier and busier, and then responsibilities kick in, and eventually you kind of look up and you're like, what am I even doing? When was the last time I just kind of relaxed and let my guard down and talked about, certain things and asked certain questions, etc. But I would like to encourage you guys, like if you're experiencing something like that, like obviously there's nothing like the internet can be a good thing. It can be a good tool. It can connect us. And that's one of the things we try to do here with live streams, kind of making it more about just hanging out and playing games and talking about games. But beyond that, I would encourage you to maybe seek out a men's group, and maybe you're not religious, and that's honestly perfectly fine. But still, like, don't let the fruit of what like a men's group could mean, a community could mean, a physical world thing could mean for you, distract you from whatever objections you have or critiques you have of either one form of religion or the concept of God existing or not existing. Because essentially, like when it comes down to that, when you run into those like objections, you then look at the fruits, and you can see that from just that aspect, that the scriptural reference that iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Like the idea of getting in with a group of people who are going to challenge you to be better than you are, better than you can be, to be actually who you're meant to be. And sometimes I think as men, we're built for that challenge. We're built to be pushed into an uncomfortable level. I, for one, have gotten, and I challenge myself a lot to say no to myself for many different reasons. What can I say no to myself now so that I can say yes to myself later? As we work to, continue to encourage you guys to pay off your debts, to work out, to be the best version that you can be. This, in a way, is that men's group that we're having, and we're sitting down having this conversation, but it's also one-sided, and it can't truly make up for what something like that could mean in your life, as well as, again, just having somebody who, knows you and understands you and wants you to be the best. And it goes both ways, like encouraging that. And so I like to encourage that in the comments. I'd like to encourage that in your real life. And I'd like to encourage you to step out of this, this internet online, always online mindset and back into the real world a little bit, where, we can try and encourage ourselves to be who we're made to be and who we're meant to be. And all that is what I wanted to say as a part of this version of Class Dismissed. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video. Hopefully you got something good from it. I love you. God loves you more. And I really just hope that you have the best day ever. I'll be praying for you guys as I always do. And that's going to wrap it up. So until next time, take care.